Hey guys, it's January 10th, 2021. It's balmy 38 degrees outside here. And yesterday on Facebook, this listing popped up on Marketplace. 2 free 1994 Seadoo SGTI. And the post was 9 minutes old when I saw it. So before I could even take the time to think about whether or not I wanted to get involved with something like that, I messaged the guy, and sure enough, I was the first one through the gate, and we talked about me coming to pick him up tomorrow, which would have been today, and he expressed to me a concern about how he was getting flooded with so many messages saying that they wanted to come and get them. So I said, okay, give me an hour to plug in my Dodge diesel truck so that I can get the thing started. It was much colder yesterday. It was only about 28 degrees. So got the truck started and headed down to Connecticut and picked up these, not one, but 2 free, apparently 1994 Seadoo jet skis made by the Bombardier company. Bombardier, I believe is how you pronounce it. A lot of people say Bombardier. A lot of people think you pronounce this Bombardier. My understanding is that the correct pronunciation is Bombardier. All right, so they're free for a reason. The way the story goes, he acquired them for free and intended to try and make one good one out of 2. And he says that he never really got around to doing anything with them. And now, the guy's smarter than me, knows that when you get a bunch of projects you can't get around to, you should get rid of some stuff. So he basically said he's going to unload them for free. So the story goes that one of these, the one on the left there, which is a lot lighter because it has no engine in it and no drive unit left in it. So the story is that's how he got that one. So the deal was, got to take both of them. And he said that I would want that one anyways because that has parts in it that this one is missing. We got 2 units here. Haven't verified the year or models yet. Gonna take a look at that right now and kind of do just a quick overview. So this is going to be part 1 of this series. Is this going to turn into another one of these marathon series? Who knows? I may end up finding out real quickly that there's just nothing worth doing with these things other than parting them out. I don't even know if there's much of a market for parts from 1994. But I mean, like even that other unit over there, there's probably a lot of stuff on that could be sold off. It looks like, based on the Connecticut registration sticker I see right there, last time these were legally registered was way back in 96. This one, 98. So either these things were taken out of service quite a while ago, or somebody stopped registering after a while. That was the other thing too, no paperwork with these things. So another problem. So in Massachusetts, you have to have title to these vehicles in order to register them for use on public waterways. But that means that's a big strike against when you try and sell these, because if you don't have paperwork and the people that buy it from you can't register it, then that's not so great. All right, so I digress. Let's take a look at these things. So those of you guys who have followed my Mercury Tower of Power series about the Mercury outboard probably know that when I started out, that was the first time I ever worked on one of those outboards. I had worked on a couple outboards previously, but nothing as in depth as what I ended up having. Nothing as deep as the rabbit hole that I ended up going down for that outboard. Well, this is going to be a new rabbit hole. I have never worked on a jet ski. I do know from someone who works on jet skis that I had done some work for previously. We got to talking, and he had explained to me that, in his opinion, that these Bombardier manufactured jet skis were better units. I don't remember exactly why. I think it had something to do with the drive units on these was better. I don't remember exactly. And then the other issue was, I remember somebody else telling me something about these Rotax engines. So this is Rotax powered. which I tried to Google Rotax last night, but apparently there's an aircraft manufacturer that makes Rotax engines for aircraft. So there's a whole, rabbit hole you can go down regarding those, and it doesn't really help you. So anyways, so looking at the unit that's more stripped, it seems obvious that this whole drive unit is missing on this one. So I don't know what the deal is there. This must be the steering linkage. Yeah, all right. And the steering linkage on this one's disconnected for some reason. I don't know why. I wonder if this has been in salt water or if that's like normal corrosion for a unit this old. There is a label on the back of both of these that's almost identical. It says Made in Canada, Fabrique au Canada. So that's where the Bombardier pronunciation comes in. It must be a French-Canadian company. This actually says 7575 Bombardier Court, Wausau, Wisconsin. And then over here, Bombardier Inc. Road and something 1988. I'm sure that's not a year. I'm sure that's a province number or something maybe. This 5872 is interesting. I wonder if that's a model number. I'm sure there's another label on here somewhere we're going to find, because these two labels are identical. This one has a PJS Performance Jet Ski sticker on it. That must be aftermarket parts. This one doesn't. I'll tell you one thing that I'm glad to see is that the seat appears to be in great condition. Both of these seats are in pretty good condition. This one's got some imperfections here just where there was a strap that was on it, and there's a little rip right up in the front there. This seat actually on the donor, or the stripped unit, we're going to call this the donor unit from now on because it'll be the parts donor, actually seems like it's in better shape. But that seat is in good enough shape that it's probably, I could probably sell that seat. All right, let's pop open. So there's a latch under here that allows this whole seat to be taken off. Ugh, what the hell's in there? So it's funny, I was looking at that stuff and I'm like, what is that, stone? I'm trying to figure out what the heck that stuff is. I think that might be foam. I think this is all just like shredded foam. And there's foam blocking inside here. I'm wondering whether or not, could that all be mice activity that they just tore all that out of there? Up here there's a cap missing from an inlet that goes to nowhere right now, but I think it went to maybe this. No, this is an electrical box of something. Yeah, no, that's an electrical, that's got electrical in it. That is no longer sealed by the looks of it. God knows what that's going to look like inside there. So there's a big red cap on the outside there. I think that's the gas. So I'm guessing maybe this is oil, because this should be a two-stroke system, I think. So I'm not seeing a hell of a lot in here, guys. I'm seeing like some hoses, some plumbing, and for the most part this electrical box, and then whatever this is, that's a metal cover for something. That's like all that's in this unit. I think up underneath there, I can't really see. Like nothing in there. It's pretty nasty looking. Here we go on the dashboard. We have a green button. This must be, it's a momentary contact switch, so I'm assuming that's the starter. This, I don't know what the deal is with that. Oh, okay. I'm guessing, see, this is threaded. I'm guessing there's a cap that threads on here. And the idea is that when this is held in by the cap that's threaded on there, the engine can run. And then I'm guessing the way it works is that cap is attached probably to a lanyard for safety. And when you fall off, this gets pulled off and pops this up and kills the engine. That's just a guess. Because if we look at this unit over here, it's completely missing the deal here. Unless the lanyard hooks up on somewhere up here. Here's a stop switch. All right, well, let's concentrate on the donor for the moment. All right, so this is why I think this is the fuel cap. It definitely is the fuel cap. It says it right on there. There's a symbol. It's a gas pump. That's your fuel cap. So that's why I think that that thing under here is the oil. We got a fuel gauge up here, okay? This whole cover right here appears to be, well, see, that's interesting. So this whole cover is missing on this one. So that's definitely something we're gonna have to steal off of this one. Thing we can click here and open this up. All right. Ugh. So there's nothing down there. So that big hose right there goes to what used to be the fuel tank, which is gone. So the fuel tank's been robbed out of this. The oil reservoir's been robbed out of this. The motor's been robbed out of this. And the drive's been robbed out of this. But look, it's got a mirror, which is missing on this one. Oh, I see. This is a storage compartment that's supposed to be in here that's missing on this one. It's on this one. So if I pull this out, there we go. There's the fuel tank. Oh, this one looks like it's in better shape. A lot less foam chunks on the inside of this one. All right, let's open up this one. Yeah. Oh. Ooh-wee. All the cap is on this reservoir, and the reservoir is in there. That's also a plus. I say that because I think I was looking last night on eBay, and I had seen that somebody sold one of those oil reservoirs. I think they got like 50 bucks for a used one of those. So if I end up having to bail on these things and gut them for parts, oh boy, oh man. That must be the exhaust pipe. Or is that a silencer? See, I don't know anything about these things. I don't even know what that's called. But I do know that this is the exhaust. And it comes up and goes down and goes into that deal there. And then that goes into this deal here. And eventually all of that goes out the drive. This is some sort of coupling that's supposed to be responsible for allowing the output of the motor here to couple to the drive. This is probably some kind of seal. Let's see if this moves just for laughs. Oh, that moves too easily, as a matter of fact. That is either completely broken. What the hell's that deal on this? I don't know. Oh, this is some kind of rubber boot that went over this that's completely destroyed and gone. See it? I can't turn that shaft. No, oh, hold on a second. This is like a flywheel right here, right? I think that's supposed to be able to rotate. I'm going to grab that with both hands and see if I can't twist it. Yeah, somebody's trying to keep mice out of here. See the dryer sheet? Fabric softener dryer sheet? That must be where the battery went. Bombardier Rotax GmbH. Blah, blah, blah. Made in Austria. Well, either I'm wrong about that being supposed to be able to be moved, or well, I'm either wrong about this being supposed to be able to rotate, or this motor is just completely seized. Wouldn't be surprised at all if it's seized, as judging by all the corrosion on this thing. I actually was able to this must be the choke butterfly, and I was actually able to get that to move and open, so I could look down the throat and see that that's all corroded. The body on this carburetor is really corroded. This is, it's also able to move the throttle.
Kind of two-stroke.
What kind of two-stroke?
Yeah.
Liquid cooled.
Does that have a name on it?
Yeah, it's Bombardier Rotax engine. It's the company that makes Seadoo. Company that owns Seadoo is Bombardier.
How many cc's?
I haven't been able to figure that out yet. I don't see any numbers on this thing. Like, you know, usually you'd think it would have something on it, but
Yeah.
it's a 2-cylinder. I can see that.
Yeah, big.
Nah, I think as they go, it's not that big. If I had to guess, I'd say it's maybe a 400. Yeah. That might be a. It says Type 587 on this right here. All right. Several minutes of research on the internet, and I was able to determine that this is the 587 engine. There were two versions of this engine. The white, which even though it's kind of a beige color, I believe is the white one, because the other one was the yellow. And this doesn't look even remotely anything like the yellow. So that solves that mystery. This is the single carburetor version as far as the jet ski itself, based on the color schemes and the fact that this says, that actually says SPI. So that's the model. I couldn't figure out what that said until I found this interesting website called jetskiplus.com, and there's a Seadoo model reference you can go through. And I looked through the model years, and sure enough, in 1994, Seadoo introduced some new engines and blah, 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 blah. But then it goes on to say that the SP, the SPI, and the GTS remain fundamentally unchanged from 93, still incorporating the 587 engine with a single carb. In 93, there's nothing that matches the color scheme, and the body style looks a little bit different. So right there, that's the color scheme I have on mine. Purple seat, purple, purple hood, red bar on the back here. So that's it. Because then in 95, they say the SXI was still, the SPI was still basically the same and still used the 587 engine. But if you look at the color schemes available for that year, there are no models. Well, there is a model with a purple seat, but then the trim bar and all that stuff is orange, not red. So I think this is exactly what the guy said it was. It's a model 94 and 1994 SPI with a 587 engine in it. So I guess the 587 engine in white might be better than the yellow in some respects, having something to do with the electrical. I guess on the yellow, this box right here on the front contains like all of the electrical, whereas on this model, I think some of the electrical's in here, and then some of it hooked up to this cable that somebody unceremoniously cut off, which I think goes to the box that's in the other unit. So we shall see. Kind of scary though. This thing might end up being just a big old lump of junk. I'm wondering whether or not somebody tried taking the head off of this and gave up after snapping off a couple of bolts. Look at this washer, lock washer right there. Kind of hard to tell whether or not they were able to get the head off of this or not. Just noticed this sticker on the underside of the seat. More evidence as to the year. Assembly. That's probably the part number for the seat. And then it says, looks like 22 FEV 94. I wonder if that's French for February. See? Right there. Just kind of looking at this thing, how this thing just turns and nothing turns with it, and it just occurred to me, oh, I think I get what's going on here. This is supposed to be able to stay still while this shaft is spinning, and that this rubber piece that's completely missing is what keeps the water from coming back in here when this is in the water. So in other words, this is the actual seal, shaft seal assembly right here. So that would indicate to me that this shaft right here that I'm looking at might be a solid piece coming all the way through this, and that it interfaces into here. Maybe there's like a splined hub or something that this goes into underneath here. I don't know. I'm wondering whether or not all of this paint that's missing right here is somebody putting a wrench on there trying to turn this thing. You get a load of this. The nut is off of this stud. What I suppose might have been 2 bolts on here are missing. And the bolt that goes over here is missing. So this appears to be unbolted from the top here, and yet it doesn't want to move. It's like somebody started to unbolt that and then gave up. I'm thinking that probably that whole unit right there, we undo this coupler, this whole unit can probably come out with the motor. I don't know. It's kind of getting ahead of myself here. Already thinking about pulling the motor on this thing, and I'm in no shape right now in the workshop to be dragging another project down there, and I think I should just step back for a little bit. All right, I think I'm going to call this video quits right here. This is just supposed to be an introductory video. Oh, look at that, more dryer sheets. I wonder how mice get in this thing. All right.